Hey everyone, for today's makeup tutorial I'm doing a no makeup look, and you might have seen these around YouTube before. I think I've done one before, but basically the point of it is to do a super natural makeup look that almost looks like you're not wearing any, but it's just stepping it up a little bit. You're just enhancing your natural beauty and you're kind of covering up flaws while still enhancing your best features. So that's kind of what this is focused around. Just keep in mind that this is still meant to have makeup on. I'm still wearing makeup, but it's just a lot more natural. That's the point of this video. I also wanted to share some tips and tricks on actually how to cover acne marks, because I do have some breakouts going on right now in this area and I still wanted to cover it up while looking natural at the same time. That can be really tricky because you can end up looking pretty cakey and then it looks like you're wearing a lot of makeup. So I wanted to share with you how I do that. And I also have pretty oily skin, and the foundation or the tinted moisturizer that I'm using is actually pretty hydrating. It looks very dewy and natural in your skin. So I wanted to share with you how I make that more mattifying for oily skin. So let's go ahead and get started. So I've already moisturized my skin and done my whole morning skincare routine. The first thing I'm going to do is start off with the Smashbox Photo Finish Mattifying Primer Stick. This is a new product to me. This is my first time trying it out. I think it's new, but it actually does a really good job at just smoothing over the pores. It helps hide any like fine lines, really helps minimize those pores. It just kind of fills them in and it just really blurs everything. So I always apply this right around the sides of my nose where you can really see my pores, and then also between my brows, and I have some fine lines on my forehead, so that just helps mattify everything. So normally I would skip this step, but since I do have some blemishes going on here, I'm going to use my Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Full Coverage Concealer. Just going to apply some of that to my hand so I don't contaminate the actual tube. Then I'm just going to use an e.l.f. sponge to dab that over the breakouts that I have going on. This is just going to help provide a nice base. That way when I put my foundation on over top, that it still has that sheer good coverage, but it's covering up just in that area, which is why I chose to do it first. For the foundation, I'm using the Bare Minerals Fresh Face Liquid Foundation. This is the Made to Fit. If you guys didn't see, I recently did a review on this where you actually match your foundation using the app on your phone. And the foundation comes out to be a pretty sheer coverage. It's almost kind of like a tinted moisturizer, but you can build it up for some more coverage. And it has a very, very natural finish to it. It looks like your natural skin, which is why I chose it for this video. To apply this, I'm just using my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. I'm just gonna slowly work that all over my face, doing a combination of stippling and then also blending to help blend it all over my face. You can do a very thin sheer layer of this if you want it to look super natural, or you can layer it up if you need some more coverage. That's why I prefer using a product like this, because you can really customize the amount of coverage you want in certain areas. So just in areas where I'm red or I have breakouts, I like a little bit extra, but not so much in other areas. I want it to still look really dewy and natural. So now I'm going to use my Maybelline Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circles. This is my favorite under eye concealer when I want it to look very natural. It's pretty sheer. You can definitely build this up for some more coverage. This one is in the shade Fair, so it's pretty light. And I'm just applying that in a triangle shape. I'm kind of dragging it down a little bit to help give my face a little bit more coverage, but you don't have to. I'm also applying it to my eyelids because I have a lot of redness and veins and stuff that I'm trying to cover up there, because I'm not going to be using any eyeshadow. So now I'm going to be using the IT Cosmetics. This is the Celebration Foundation in Fair, and this is pretty much a powder foundation. You can use a regular setting powder, but this one just adds a little bit more coverage. I'm just using my e.l.f. powder brush to apply this all over my face, kind of just stippling or pressing it into my face. You could only apply this where you need more coverage or only where you're oily, up to you. I sometimes just use my favorite e.l.f. setting powder that I always talk about, but this just provides a little bit extra coverage in just areas that you need it. So I'm definitely kind of layering this up over that area where I have a blemish going on. That way it can just help provide more coverage, but it still looks pretty natural. Then if that's still showing through, I recommend trying out, this is the Color Science Mineral Corrector Kit. I've done a video using this before. It's really interesting. It's basically a powder concealer. So it comes with this little handy brush where you can just kind of dab the powder over top of whatever breakout you have going on. I like to do it over top concealer, but you could totally use this in place of all the concealer and just conceal with this. It's a really full coverage, kind of like a creamy type of powder. It's still a powder, but it has a nice texture to it to where it doesn't look cakey or anything. I love just topping this off when I've already applied face products, but I can still kind of see it showing through. This is perfect for that. So now I'm going to move on to blush. I love using cream blush when I want a really natural finish. This is my all-time favorite for that. This is the Maybelline Master Glaze by Face Studio. This one is in Just Pinched Pink. I don't even know if they still have these in the store. I always find it on Amazon for you guys. But I'm just using my e.l.f. small stipple brush to apply this to my cheeks. I like using this one because it has a little bit of a sheen to it, so it almost looks like I'm wearing highlighter. It looks super natural in your face. You don't have to apply like bronzer and all that unless if you want to, but I just like going with this when I'm trying to go for a really easy look. And it's definitely a one-step product to where you don't need a highlighter along with it, and it gives your face such a nice sheen. So now I'm going to move on to my brows, and this is one of the hardest things to keep them looking really natural, but I think it's really important because I always see people with these super sharp defined brows, and if you're not wearing a lot of makeup or you're doing a no makeup look, it just looks off and really off balance. So I don't like to go with bold brows when I'm doing something so natural on the face. So I'm just going to lightly fill them in. I'm just using my NYX micro brow pencil just to fill in any sparse areas because mine just tend to not grow in the arch area and also on the very end of the tail, so I kind of have to fill mine in, but if you don't have gaps, then you can totally skip this step. Then for the brow gel, I'm using the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara in Espresso. I'm just dabbing this all throughout my brows, and it's going to help comb them and tame them into place. This also helps fill them in a little bit more. Sometimes when I'm really going natural, I just use this and I don't worry about the gaps, but this is great just to kind of apply some color. Then you want to make sure you blend it and don't go too crazy with it. So that was one of the hardest things. It was definitely just to kind of leave them a little bit not flawless, like, you know, not getting them totally perfect, just kind of filling them in, but still keeping that kind of untamed look. Moving right on to eyeliner. This one I think I might have shown in the last no makeup look that I did, but it's definitely my favorite, most natural wearing eye pencil. This is a pencil eyeliner from Studio Gear, and the color is Suede, and it's a really light taupe brown color. It's very just like a cool tone brown. It's very neutral. It's not glittery or anything. And I like how these pencils are just a little bit drier. You wouldn't want to use like a kohl liner for this or anything. That would just be too dramatic. Like, this is not a liner that you could use for a smoky eye. This is definitely something that's just meant to kind of lightly define the eyes. So I'm just kind of dabbing it on my lower lash line. I'm also taking a little bit up onto the outer corner only of my upper lash line. I'm keeping it really close to my lash line. I'm not even creating a line. You don't even really see a line actually on my eye. I'm just kind of dabbing it and creating a little bit of a shadow there. Then I just place the pencil in the corner of my eye and I kind of flick it up a little bit to create a wing. You don't actually see a wing when you look at my eyes, but it just kind of elongates them a little bit since I have really small, round, like almond shaped eyes. This definitely helps elongate it. Gives a little bit of a shadow, and once I have on mascara, you can't even tell really that I'm wearing liner. So now I'm just giving my lashes a little curl. You can totally skip this, but it kind of helps open up your eyes a little bit if you're not wearing a lot of eye makeup. For mascara, I'm using the Color Science Mascara in Black Noir, and this mascara is really nice because it just has a really natural, soft look to it. You definitely can't go dramatic with this. When I try to apply more than one coat, it just ends up getting clumpy, so I like this because it keeps me from going overboard and it looks pretty natural in my eyes. I like how soft that it looks. It's just very brightening. It just defines them and gives them a little bit of volume, but nothing too dramatic. You could always use a brown mascara. I have a brown one from Pacifica I really like too, but brown mascara is always great when you just want that natural look. So now finally moving on to lips, I'm using just a really nice tinted gloss. This is by Aveda. It's called the Nourishment Rehydrating Lip Glaze. This is in pink. And it's just a nice, just soft gloss. It has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's nothing too glossy. It has a nice, soft, pinkish nude hint to it. You could really use anything. You could even dabble on a lip stain. You could just use a tinted lip balm. I've tried all kinds of different types of lip colors when I do these no makeup looks, but this one is just the one I wanted to reach for today because it gives a nice color and it has a nice minty feel to it. It's awesome. So that is it for this makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I would love to see your no makeup look, so please tag me on Instagram if you post a photo. I would love to see. I'll be sharing some of my favorite ones on my Instagram stories if you want to be featured. I'll link to my previous no makeup looks if you want to see those in the description box down below. That's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Bye everyone.